So let's take a look at the Kentucky Turf Cup. It's a Grade 2. It's the 10th race on the Saturday card at Kentucky Downs. It's running a mile and a half on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. And I'll tell you, you look at this field, and this is like a big-time recycling bin for horses that I don't like, who have underachieved and and just haven't answered the bell. Tawny Port, Grand Sonata, even Integration, who's the favorite to a degree. So it's a lot of horses in here who are hard to trust, and it should make for a really interesting race from that perspective. We take a look at this field, and the interesting thing is that we've got a lot of horses who like to do the same thing, and that's get on the lead and go. The most prominent one, I would say, is Get Smokin', who does own a victory over the track, but as we know, that's really important. Awful tough to win from the front. And the last race, Getting Smokin' was in, barely held off Grand Sonata to get the W, and ran what are probably, I would say, for anything over a mile and an eighth, would be considered fairly unreasonable fractions. They were like 47 and 111, and every time Get Smokin' has run at that type of pace, he has foundered. I was lucky enough to get up. It wasn't the greatest field last time, and he's got a lot of company this time. In that race, he was left on the lead all alone, and he just fired out. But I don't see that happening here, particularly with Balladeer in the race as another need the lead type. Who has done pretty well at Kentucky Downs as well. And Cathkin Peak, who's coming off a marathon victory on the front end, and Segoy, who was very keen on the lead in the Arlington Million. So you've got a lot of horses here who all are going to be keen to get the lead, and of those, I would say Get Smokin' probably is the one that can batten it down a little bit and maybe can survive any type of pace duel up front, but I'm not really that confident. At 7 years old, Get Smokin', you have to love this horse. He just seems to be getting better and better. He's been running great speed figures, but just the fact that he's got all this other company makes me a little skittish, but I think maybe he can hang on to get underneath, potentially. The others I'm not really very confident on. Tawny Port is one of those classic, just unrealized potential. It's I think, when you look at a horse like Tawny Port at 3 years old, we were saying, maybe, and then at 4 we're saying not likely, and to me at 5 years old, it's definitely not. This horse just had plenty of chances and just doesn't get it done. Grand Sonata just had probably his best race, just missing against Get Smokin'. And that was probably the first time I've ever seen this horse really run a good, solid race like we always thought he could. But do you think he could back it up with another race? I don't think so. He just never does. He's awful hard to trust. Can he get underneath possibly in this race? Sure. If you want to throw him in there, okay. But I just like others better. Just these horses that are hard to trust, it's just really difficult to put them in the mix, and I'd rather not, keep my fingers crossed. I'd rather just leave my fingers uncrossed and just throw them out and not even worry about it. If they beat me, they beat me. But this race just has a lot of horses with unrealized potential or perennial disappointments, however you want to look at it. And then you couple that with all these early runners. You throw Chief Little Rock in there, the Aidan O'Brien import. Now, this horse did not run terribly well last time, but in the race prior, got on the lead and showed a really impressive kick to hold off the field and won very impressively. Now, the question you have to have is, with all these other front runners, is that possible? I don't know. I'm going to assume, and this is a big assumption on my part, but European horses tend to be very handy, and they can adapt their running style based upon the shape of the race. So I'm going to guess that Chief Little Rock will rate off of the more prominent front runners here. And in doing so, with Frankie Dettori in the irons, I think this one has a very good chance to get up and take this one. The track two back that Chief Little Rock ran at, I believe it was the Cora, very similar to Kentucky Downs. So you have kind of that same similar type of situation that you had with Bellum Justum last week. Running in a race that on a track that he's experienced before. And in Europe, of course, they have a lot of undulating tracks. They even have at the Cora. I thought it was really cool to note they don't even have an outside rail. It's just wide open. So, I think Chief Little Rock will adapt pretty well. Is he good enough? His back class indicates that he's running classier races than this. So I think he'll be equal to the task. And I would consider to be, I would probably have more, would lean towards a win candidate, except for the fact there's all this other speed in the race. And I'm just not 100% certain about what Chief Little Rock is going to do tactically. So, but I think certainly Chief Little Rock should be in the mix here, and I could certainly see as a win candidate. When we talk about horses who disappoint, Integration has to be right up at the top. This is a horse who's had plenty of talent. His second race, he won a stakes race. I mean, that's won his first three starts. He knows how to win. It's not that he doesn't know how to win. He just seems to always run into better horses. So here, getting the class relief after running a really good Arlington Million, I thought he ran a very good second there to Nation's Pride, and he was still driving at the end. So maybe at a mile and a half, he has a little better chance to win. This horse has too much talent. And with the class relief here, particularly when you consider most of these horses tend to be on the disappointing side, I think this is Integration's race to lose. And honestly, it's not really a now or never type of situation, but it's getting there with Integration. But I think he demonstrated the Arlington Million. He's more than good enough to win this race, and I'm going to pick him on top. Now, the next three horses all ran in the Kentucky Downs preview over at Ellis Park. And of the group, I really liked what I saw from Highway Robber. You saw something in that race that you don't see too often. He moved early, and I thought he caught the field napping and won driving. It was a really impressive move by Jared Loveberry. I think it was exactly the right thing to do, and obviously it worked out. This is the kind of race, if he tries to do that again, it might work in his favor, because you got to believe Integration will be waiting to get to the top of the stretch before he starts to move. So if Highway Robber does it again, he may steal this race. The only thing I'm a little troubled at is that was a career high figure for Highway Robber, so there is the possibility of regression, and the waters are a little deeper here, although there are some return contestants from that race running here. But I just really liked what I saw from that race. I thought it just blew me away tactically, and he finished the race well. Nobody could get to him. So Highway Robber, I think, is the logical horse in here, and this is the kind of race, because you've got all those front runners, and maybe everybody's going to be a little skittish to get going. So if the pace stays moderate to slow, Highway Robber stays up right by it and does that again, makes that early move, he's got a shot. So we'll put Highway Robber in the mix. To fill out the field from that race, King Curlin and Anglophile, I thought, ran pretty well, but they looked to me like horses where they should appreciate more ground. So I think the mile and a half will work in their favor. What I am concerned about is I didn't really see the turn of foot from either of them to tell me that they can get up and win this. Now, I think because of their running style, more ground definitely helps. They're more grinder type of runners, so I think you can confidently use them underneath. But to win it, I don't think so. So we're going to go with Integration. I think the class edge is significant here. But Chief Little Rock and Highway Robber, to me, are the top two contenders to integration. So we look at our wagering strategy. We're going to go with integration on top. Hopefully, it won't get too short. If it does, we may not go with a win bet. We'll see. Then we're going to do a 2-11 cold exacta, and then a 2-1 cold exacta, and then we'll key box two with 1 and 11, so we can double up if we can get integration home, and then we get sort of a saver if we get Chief Little Rack or Highway Robber takes it. Then we'll do a trifecta with 2 on top with 111, 111, and then we'll do one with 2 on top with 111 with King Curlin, Anglophile, and we'll throw Get Smoking in there as a horse that, just is such a hard knocker. I like Get Smoking as a horse. I just think with all this early pace, he's really going to have it tough. But if anybody's going to withstand that type of pace pressure, Get Smoking to me possibly could do it. This is a really interesting race, and I think it's integrations to lose, and hopefully for Shug he'll get up and get it done. So I hope this analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. As always, wish you the best of luck. Be on the lookout for more postings for Kentucky Downs. We do have several up already for all the 6 stakes races on Saturday's card. And we're still hoping that, time permitting, we can get a pick 5 sequence out to you. So be on the lookout for that as well. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.